In this episode of the Teacher Gary podcast, we talk about why Westerners seem more casual with relationships. Why does this man have over 100 children with 12 wives? Is he not tired? Does he not believe in protection? And we just talk about the differences between Western and dating cultures. Hey Pepper, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing, Gary?
I'm chilling. I'm in my 老家, my grandmother's house in Beijing. Where you at?
I'm back in Chengdu. I went back for a week in Hainan and then just went back.
You were in Hainan, right? That's your hometown?
My hometown, yeah. Hainan.
So, Pepper, did you get that golden question that every kid gets asked when they go back home? You know what I'm talking about?
What's
That
the question?
Do you have a boyfriend yet? When are you getting married? 什么时候抱孩子? You
No.
get that question this time? No?
I haven't got this question this year because I avoid them at all costs. I didn't go to my family reunion dinner.
Okay, so your parents don't even ask you anymore because they already know why.
I think they were just trying to keep a good mood during the Chinese New Year because every time they ask me this question, I feel like argument will certainly starts. But yeah, if I went to the family reunion dinner, they would surely ask me this question. Like,
So you mean not your mom and dad, like your extended relatives, they will really get on.
yeah,
They really get
yeah,
on you about that.
yeah, they will ask. What about you, Gary? Like, did they ask you?
Oh no, they can if they start asking that, I kind of just shut down. Right? I shut down the conversation. They know my body, my choice. Right? So, yeah, I'm not very obedient in terms of being a traditional son, having a nice stable job like being an accountant or a doctor, and having a wife and 2 kids by the age of 30. No, that's not me. Otherwise, I'd still be back home in Canada, right? I grew up in Canada. But yeah, that's not me. But do you know who doesn't have a problem with this?
Who?
There is this Ugandan man in there's this Ugandan man with 12 wives and over 100 children. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I heard about that. You share with me the minute you saw this news.
Ugandan man with 12 wives, 102 kids, 578 grandchildren feeding clan is a challenge. I bet it is. I bet it is a challenge to get freaking alone time. Like, how
Yeah.
the hell does this guy not... This guy must be really good at tuning out chaos and not using protection. That's this guy. I don't know. What do you think about this news?
Yeah, I think the funny part about this news is that he said, I can only remember the names of my first and the last born, but some of the others I can't not record their names. He admitted while sifting through old notebooks that contains
Yeah.
details of his children's births.
I think he might need name tags for all of them, especially those grandchildren. I think I cannot remember 500 people, but he has 578 grandchildren.
Yeah.
You know, it does really show like how dating and relationships, marriage is different across different cultures. And I think we do see this in the West, like North America, England, Australia, versus East Asian countries, right? Like China, Japan, Korea, right? Singapore. We do see values change when it comes to meeting people, when it comes to hooking up, when it comes to getting into a relationship. Do you feel like there's a big difference based on your interactions with Westerners, and even like from the media, like watching movies, stuff like that?
Yeah, I feel like compared to Westerners, like um, we're we're Easterners are more of a slow burner. Is that a word?
Slow burner. Well, describe that to me. What does it mean to be a slow burner, Pepper? Are you a slow burner? And
Yeah,
what are you
I
burning?
think no. I mean, I'm in general a 慢热 person. Like means I don't open up that easily from the get-go, from the beginning. But I feel like from my past experience, like I feel like some Westerners I met before, they seem to move things really fast when it comes to dating. Like for example, if I went like in the past, I when I was still using Tinder, for I'm not using it right now, but when I was still using Tinder, I feel like their question, like their opening question, can be very direct and straightforward. Like, what do you look for?
Do you think that's a Western thing, or do you think that's a Tinder thing?
I feel like Tinder is kind of breaking the Western Eastern dating culture difference already. I feel like there are still some major differences, but I think Tinder is doing this one thing, like breaking all these differences right now. Yeah, but I
think
feel
you get
like
people who are looking for hookups more on Tinder for sure. Even I think just dating apps in general, you're gonna encounter more people who are looking for casual flings, right? Short-term situationships, maybe. And maybe that even applies on like Asian dating apps, right? Because there's Asian dating apps that are just for Asian people. And Tinder has always been known from the get-go to be like a hookup app, but over time, I guess it's developed. Yeah, I think I think some of it makes sense. Like Western people, like are a lot more friendly from the get-go, right? They're more fast burners. If we use the burning analogy that you said, like for example, like it's a lot easier for Westerners to like be friendly. I'm not saying all Westerners, but like in certain countries, like USA, Canada, Australia, UK, like we're a lot better, or we do this a lot more, where we talk we talk and we're friendly to strangers. Like we have conversations in the elevator, right? We're like, hey,
yeah.
how's it going? How's your day going? I might do that at a convenience store. Like how you doing? Yeah, like we're a lot more likely to have these casual conversations, and by doing that, it allows us to like have full on conversations with strangers. And I do it because I don't know. You can meet interesting people. You can meet You can meet girls. You can like find business encounters, stuff like that. So it's always. I think part of it is just like culture. Part of it is my personality. But in general, I agree. Yeah. How do you think? Is it something that's on your mind, like meeting other people now that you're still single?
I also noticed about the things you were just talking about. You're more easily to getting closer to the strangers. Like I noticed when you're hanging out in a bar, like it's just so easy for you guys to strike up a conversation with the strangers. While I feel like Chinese people, we don't really do that.
What you're also doing is you're noticing Western people in China. Is that right?
Yeah.
So these people are already more likely to be adventurous because they already moved to China. It's a big commitment. It's a indicator of being adventurous and bold by moving to a foreign country. So they're more likely to be outgoing if they moved in the first place. And then second of all, yes, Western people are more likely to be friendly with strangers, right? Western people, you know what I mean. Like Canada, USA, UK, New Zealand, Australia, blah, 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 right? And then like I like to like talk about a theory that I talk about. I forgot where I heard it. It's like coconut and peach theory. So I would describe like East Asia, right, as a coconut society, like a bunch of coconut societies, right? So if you picture a coconut, the outside is like super hard, right? Like it's hard to get into, right? So they're not that warm and open to opening up to you from the get-go. But once you get inside, it's really sweet. And once you get inside, like they're your best friends and they won't let you go. Right? So I found that to be true when I was living in Taipei, right? When I was living in Taipei, I felt that a lot of the locals, they didn't really want new friends. They weren't that welcoming as I expected them to be. But once you get inside that circle, like they're really, really sticky, I guess. And they really, really accept you and they want to hang out with you a lot. And I find this to be true across many Asian cultures. And then the other side is the Peach Society. Peach Society is like they're really sweet and nice to you from the get-go. So think about USA, Canada, New Zealand, even South America. You see how friendly these Mexicans are? They're like dancing and doing salsa with people that they just met, right? Colombians, right? They can dance with you, they can sing with you, even though you guys just met 2 minutes ago, right? So these are like peach societies. They're really sweet with you from the get-go, but it's hard to like get to their true feelings, right? You want them to say something real to you. You want them to tell you, their deepest desires and traumas, I guess. Like it's really hard for them to open up because the inside of that peach is hard. That core of the peach can be quite hard. So I've always been fascinated about like coconut versus peach society. Yeah. Does that make sense to you? That these categories?
Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like this analogy, this metaphor is quite interesting.
Nice.
And quite informative.
Yeah, do you think this applies to dating?
I feel like it applies.
Like it takes you a long time to like get to know someone for dating.
So Gary, I've been noticed that I have this question like why does Westerners can get intimate and or get closer to each other so quickly? Like even they just meet at a bar or something.
Yeah, I think that that is a surprise to like some Eastern people, right? It's like you see these movies of like you see these movies in Hollywood of people like hooking up and having this one night stand. I think it happens in Asia too, but maybe perhaps more often in Western countries. And I just think that people don't see it as a big deal, like hooking up with strangers. And so attitude towards like casual relationships is definitely different. Towards sex is different. Yeah, and having a more open personality, I guess, and the values. I think a huge combination of factors. I think certain Eastern cultures have more of a emphasis on being responsible and family and traditional values, and it might be looked down upon to be running around with different guys. And yeah. Do you feel that way?
I feel like there's some truth in it, but I feel like this kind of difference is not so obvious right now. Like I feel like nowadays everybody is using the dating apps.
I think it varies by city also. Like if you go to like Shanghai, like I think it's gonna be different from like like Tianjin or like somewhere else or like a
Yeah, I
village.
feel like
So it's hard to generalize like this, but I get what you're saying. Like in Shanghai, like it's very fast paced, it's fashionable, people are trying to meet people, people are trying to do business. Like there's fucking Wanghongs, right? There's fucking KOLs with
yeah.
like that star energy, right? And people want a part of that, right? People see the jewelry, they get excited, people want to venture with their life. Right. So I think it's an interesting time. And I think these mentalities across different cultures, you can see them in pockets of Asia too. You know, yoga pants, like yoga pants was not big. It was very big like 10 years ago in the United States, and now it's become big in China. So I don't know how that relates, but like I feel like this cultural crossbreeding is happening now, and I do see it within the attitudes of young people also.
Yeah, I like read something on the red note lately. Like they saying Shanghai is kind of a city of situationship. So do you
Why?
think I feel like yeah, it makes sense because it's hard to settle down in the big city, right? And people moving in and out of the city quickly, so it's hard for people there to like look for something serious and long term. So and then it's easily they could get this mismatch in the needs, right? So that's where the situation shift happen. Usually
Yeah, that
happens
could be
in
true.
big city.
Well, a lot of people are not from Shanghai there, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of them are from out of city, and yeah, so they don't see it as a long-term place. Yeah, it's a city of it's one of the cities of IKEA furniture, right?
What do you mean by IKEA furniture?
Like you don't know if you're gonna be there for like the next 5 years, so you might just buy IKEA furniture instead of like furniture you would buy if you were settling down.
Are
Because
you
you're
going
not
to
gonna
take
take the IKEA furniture back to your hometown, right?
Probably
You're
no.
either gonna sell it or leave it there.
But there are still some good ones though. Like IKEA still got good furniture.
Hey, I love IKEA furniture. I just don't love assembling it. IKEA is like one of my favorite places for a date. Like
For a date?
yeah, I can get in bed with her on the first date easily. I can get her into the idea of, hey, let's pretend that let's play house.
Yeah.
All right, I actually haven't done this before, but I should try it. It's like this bed looks comfy. You ever play house when you were a kid? Like you pretend you have bigger responsibilities with your childhood friends. Like, hey, you cook this. I'll do the dishes. Wife, I'm home. Yeah, that's fun to play at IKEA. But yeah, I do love IKEA. IKEA is cool. Yeah, that was a bit of a sidetrack, but the point is, like, yeah, like big cities, you have people who are looking to climb socially. One way is sleeping with people. That can help you. Yeah, I think some people do that. You look surprised. Like some people do that to social climb, right? You know what goes on in Hollywood? Freaking David Epstein, freaking P. Diddy,
Yeah.
Usher, and Justin Bieber know what's good. It goes on everywhere. This is one of the this is one of the human practices that extends throughout human history. Sleeping to the top.
Yeah.
Pepper's like no comment.
no comment. I don't know how to say. It must be a painful experience for them. Like, I don't know. Maybe they
Who, Justin
feel like
Bieber? Of course.
they feel
That
they
he
probably
was freaking underage. Must have
yeah
been painful.
they probably felt like they had no choice. So.
That's why Diddy needed all that baby oil. To make it less painful.
Yeah.
Damn, you're
Well,
really making me carry this podcast, Pepper. You got nothing, no jokes to add. Pepper is a comedian, but we gotta work on her improv skills. But I will say, comedy is a lot harder in your second language.
mm-hmm.
For sure. What else were we talking about? We talked about the peach analogy. Yeah, we talked about the Ugandan pimp. Yeah. What else do we want to talk about? I'm just trying my best to to lead this conversation.
Yeah. So, according to my past life experience, I feel like the
Your past
guys
life
I
experience. Your past life or your or
not my past life, my past.
okay, this life.
Oh,
Okay, got
that's a bit ambiguity there. Sorry. So, according to my life experience in the past, um, the guy I met before, let's say, guys who are from other countries, they are less likely to want something more serious. Maybe it's because they are traveling here in China. Right? They have this traveler mindset. They are not here to stay. As they put it, they are here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah.
okay,
So
nice.
why do you think it's a case? Like they don't
You
really
just explained it, but
I mean, it's part of the reason, right? They are traveling, but I feel like nowadays in your society, they are not likely to look for this serious things anymore, right?
my society. Wow. Okay. I don't know. Like,
Is that a wrong way to put it?
no, it's not. But I don't know. Like, it feels like they don't know how long they're gonna stay. It's again, it's the Shanghai example, right? You're going there, you don't know how long you're gonna stay, so you're not looking to get settled down. If you went abroad for like 留学, right? You're not gonna be there looking for the love of your life, the father of your babies, necessarily. Like, I mean, you could find it. There are many cases where there's people who find their wife in Asia, like white people find their wives in Asia all the time. But I would feel like they're more on an expedition. Like, we're here. Let's look, let's experience, let's have these wild experiences and adventures. So I think a lot of them have this mentality. I do agree about that.
What about the people they're not traveling? Like they
Use me as an example. Like I don't have that mentality because I see this as a home. I see Asia as my home, right? Like Canada was my second stop, right? So like I'm Chinese. Nothing's gonna change that. Right? I'm ethnically Chinese. I grew up in Canada. If anything, when I'm in Canada, I conquered some white bitches. Yeah, so it's actually the reverse.
Yeah, so now you're kind of like settling down in Thailand, right?
I just think it's a really comfortable place to live. I think it's great. I think what you're starting to see is like these big cities, they're all very globalized, and you can see flavors of different cultures and different value systems in these big cities. So Bangkok, Chengdu, even Tokyo, like there's still a foundation of the locals there, but you do see sprinkles, you do see bits and pieces of other cultures and other value sets. So I think it's really interesting. So in terms of dating, like I think a lot of people now are having trouble meeting people, right? Especially when it comes to dating. Like, do you find that to be something that you're thinking about also
You mean like whether I find it hard to meet new people?
in terms of dating? Because
In
you
terms,
told me the story that like you're a slow burner and that some of these people that you meet online, they're moving too fast for you. So like,
yeah,
do you have any problems with that? Have you found a solution?
yeah. I feel like many people they're using dating apps right now. I feel like those apps are not a good choice if you're looking for something serious and long term.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but maybe it's because you're basically strangers, right? It takes a lot of work compared to like starting from a friendship or starting a romantic relationship with a coworker.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't feel like I would try to use a dating app since I'm looking for something different right now.
So you're
So it's
looking to
hard.
settle down.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to meet new people if I'm not using dating app anymore. Maybe just like doing comedy is one thing that because doing comedy you get to meet new people,
So
but
so you're a stand-up comedian?
I kinda am.
Okay, got it. Yeah, just for those listening in, because we still got like 100 views per video right now. So we have to introduce, we have to give background to everything that we introduce. Like you
Yeah.
say, doing comedy. So we gotta restate our background every time we bring something in like that. But
Yeah.
you think that helps with meeting people that have potential for long-term relationships?
I'm going to have to break this question into two parts, like meeting new people that leads to long-term relationship. Like it's an easy way to meet new people, especially for an introvert like me. Like before, like I don't usually go out, and especially when I was living back in my hometown, we don't really have that much of cultural events back in Hainan. But right now, I'm doing comedy, and it's a good way for me to meet new people. But I don't know whether that could meet someone that could possibly lead to long-term relationship. It's still, I guess, you cannot you have no control of what's going to happen in the next right now. Like it's hard to say who you're going to meet the next, but meeting new people, that's a great way. But yeah, you cannot you wouldn't know what kind of role they're going to play in your life until like you really get to know them. But right now, I haven't met anyone that's seem suitable for a long-term relationship with me.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is you're using something that you're passionate about as the as the way of meeting other people. And
Yeah,
if they're passionate about the same things, then you have something, you have an anchor. You have something you can talk about. You have something to share. You have something that connects you. And I think that's a
you're
great
right.
way. That's why, like, when I have male friends who are struggling to find ways to meet women, I say, okay, what are you interested in? Like, what are some of your hobbies? And can those things lead you to meet like-minded women? So, like, for example, if you like yoga, that's like the best case scenario because women are really into yoga. And if you're good at yoga, that's gonna help a lot because you go to these yoga classes, there's all types of hot women. Yeah, find something that you're passionate about and like find like-minded people and show your competency. Like as a man, being competent is sexy. You're not gonna like if you go to like a yoga class and you can't do the poses, like yeah, maybe you won't get much attention there. So
Yeah,
I think finding something that you're competent at where you can meet other people is a great way to meet other people. Whereas if you just meet people on a dating app, I was like, okay, what the fuck do I talk about?
Yeah, it's better start from someone who has common interests, common hobbies with you. I mean, yeah, but that's not the main reason why I do comedy. I do comedy because
I'm not accusing you of that.
Yeah, it's just part of the reason, but not the main reason.
Oh, really? Okay, damn. I didn't know that.
You didn't know what?
I didn't know it was part of the reason. Okay, now I know.
No,
good luck to you.
Anyway, yeah, it's a good way to meet new people. That's what I have to say about it.
It's absolutely a great way to meet new people. It's a great week. I like to invite like friends that I've met throughout the week and say, hey, I'm performing at this place. Come out. We can have a drink after. We can talk business. We can just be friends and share a beer together. Not share a beer. That's weird. That's my my English style Chinese. It's because I think in Chinese people say share a meal together. Yeah, let's get drinks after the event, right? So I find inviting people to comedy shows is a great way to meet other people, and that's one of the reasons why I do comedy. Stand-up.
I feel like the comedian friends that I made recently, I feel like we get each other, and I like to get really technical about like how should we get better at writing jokes. Yeah,
that's really important because like if you don't have a common connector, a common anchor, an interest, then what the fuck do you talk about? You talk about more or like, oh, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is blue.
Yeah, that's what I feel about most of the people I met from the dating apps nowadays. Like
wow, your favorite color is blue? Mine is too. Do you want to Netflix and chill now?
Yeah, hey, what do you do? I work in finance and I'm really busy, and that's why I fit into my busy schedule to meet up with you.
But a lot of relationships are like that now. So when things get hard, there's one less safety net, right? When you guys have nothing to talk about or it starts feeling boring, you don't have that common hobby or common mindset. Yeah, it's an extra layer of protection that keeps you guys together, actually. So I think finding a long-term partner that has a similar interest in you is very cool, very useful.
And the kind of relationship you mentioned earlier, I think there's a word in Chinese for it. It's called 假性亲密关系. I don't know what's the word for it in English.
假性 meaning fake?
Yeah, fake intimate relationship. If I translate it literally.
Fake intimate.
Yeah.
Because people want it so bad that they fake it. They make that story to themselves.
Yeah, they don't want to be single. They want to be in a relationship without really having real connection with the people, and they are not likely to open up to the partner. They are in 假性关系, 假性亲密关系.
I've seen that. I've seen that a lot. I see that within my social circle group. I'm not going to say anyone. It's not you. But I know it's not you. But like I've seen friends who pretend that we're closer. I've seen friends that pretend that they're closer to me than they actually are. Yeah. So
they are
if they're watching this video, for the audio listeners, I just blew a kiss. And this motherfucking fruit fly, I'm gonna kill that fruit fly. Anyways, what were we talking about? 假性, right? Yeah. It is very common because people have fear of missing out. They see their friends have this seemingly perfect relationship on social media, and they're like, I need that too. I'm gonna pretend that I have it, just like people pretend they have money.
Yeah. I always feel so kind of like jealous when I read those Red Note posts about how sweet their relationship is like what did their boyfriends or girlfriend have done to each other. Like I just feel like I'm kind of jealous, but at the same time just wondering whether they are true.
Yeah. A lot of people aren't as rich as they portray themselves to be also. A lot of people don't have perfect relationships like they portray. A lot of people, they don't have harmonious marriages like they portray. So yeah, like just focus on yourself, I would say. And like everything that's supposed to happen will happen. So yeah, have faith in yourself. And find people that align with your values. And I don't think we can say all Western people are horny, promiscuous savages, because there's people of all kinds, right? There are promiscuous Asian people, there are promiscuous Western people, they are very reserved Western people. So these things that we discussed are very high level patterns that we may have observed. Is that right?
Yeah. While we're talking about people in general, I feel like we still need to look at their needs. Like it's different case by case, right? It's different from person to person. So just you need to just make sure what they want. Like, do they want a long-term thing, or are they more satisfied with being single, but yeah, nothing serious right now?
I think we covered everything, didn't we, Pepper, for today? Well, thank you guys for watching. We are still working on this podcast. We'll get better over the weeks.
Why you look like your dad inside? Why you look at your dad
So
inside?
please subscribe, like, share with your friends, and we will see you next week, hopefully, as we try to be more consistent with this.
Okay, let me stop the recording.